Great. So I'm so happy to have Richard Kind with me here for Culture Focus magazine. My name is Nicoletta Morales. Hi, Richard. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing great in this early morning for me and for you. So
Yes, the day after Memorial Day, it's Tuesday, seems like a Monday, but every day seems like a Thursday to a Tuesday to a Saturday to I can't keep them straight anymore.
you're so right. It's all blending in. It's just, I don't know. I don't even know who I am anymore. It's like
I
everything.
agree.
So how has COVID been? I mean, that experience with quarantine and social distancing been for you?
It's been unusual because I had been in LA. Uh, I was at a huge charity event, must have met 2,000 people shaking hands. Then I was on set. I worked for about 4 days. That accompanied with two airplane flights, I thought by far I I had this was early on. So
Right.
I quarantined myself for 5 weeks
Wow.
alone. It was quite something. It wasn't as bad. I don't mean to say that. The only thing I did was miss my family because I sent them elsewhere. I live in New York, so I wanted to get out of there because that was the hub. And
Yeah.
what we find charming about New York is now the equivalent to getting ill. So I got them out. I stayed for 5 weeks, and then I went and my son went somewhere else, and my wife and children all went somewhere. Uh, my wife and daughters went somewhere else, and so I finally saw them after 5 weeks, and that was great too. And it was good for them not to see dad. Believe me, when
It
you're
was
like
great.
me and loud and imposing, they could use the break.
Do you think that this experience made you come out a little bit better, a little bit wiser? Do you think like you're a different person now that you spend these 5 weeks alone with yourself?
I'm too old to get wiser. I think I just all the wisdom I have, I think they just put up the wall, and I don't get any wiser. I just get dumber.
Oh, Richard. I don't know about that. um, well, I'm very excited to have you here because you'll be talking about the new comedy, which I saw and I love, by the way, The Social
I'm glad.
Ones.
Good.
Really funny, very hilarious. I could totally relate to the social media hashtag.
Well, you can because you're young. I sort of don't entirely know what went on, but I do. I mean, I certainly followed it, and but I really did get a handle on who my guy was and my character because back in the day when I went to school and we had Fortran and the computers were huge, I knew those people who enjoyed computers, and I wasn't that guy. I was into the arts, and I didn't like numbers or Fortran or X's and O's or zeros and ones and stuff. Uh, so I knew who this guy was, as opposed to all of the kids who were in the movies who were raised with that. They know it like like they know the English alphabet. They know their ABCs. They know computers that way. So it was an unusual challenge for me. And I will say this: memorizing those lines was no walk in the park. I mean, I was saying things that I simply didn't understand and had to make sense of it. But the viewing audience who will get this movie, they'll know.
I didn't know. I mean, your character seems like he knows what he's talking about. He's the source. So basically, you're the source of it all.
I
So
am. I was the architect of it all.
the architect,
Yeah.
and for not knowing it, I mean, it didn't give me the impression that you didn't. So how did you prep him for the role? Because that's true acting right there. You didn't even know anything or as much about it.
You make pretend. I mean, I knew this guy was talking in a language that I didn't understand, and I just had to make sure that I could give it I could give it understanding that I pretended that I knew what I was talking about. And did I? No, but I pretended that I did. So
So now,
that's acting.
so now after the film, do you feel like you know more about social media and what's going on and the problems with social media?
Yes, I have to admit I do. Having dealt with that, having three children in their teens, who look when I was trying to get onto this Zoom and I couldn't find it. Anyway, I call over my 15-year-old son. I go, Max, help me. And that's what my life is now.
Well, that seems what life is like now. I mean, everything's social media and Zoom and video and online. It transferred.
Well, now really. And the funny thing is that, tell our viewers that I had a tough time getting online to talk to you. I thought it was going to be a phone call. I had no idea it was a Zoom, but I do know how to use Zoom. I play poker with friends on Tuesday night. I use my computer to see them on the Zoom. I use my iPad to so that I can play the game and log into that. So I think that's one thing that this pandemic is doing. It's making me more techno literate.
Tech savvy.
Tech savvy. Yeah, that's an old word. I like tech literate.
So do you have any social media accounts now that you'll be more active on, or that you want to create just to be part of that?
Create? Oh my God. I go on these Instagram interviews every once in a while. A friend will call. He's got some podcast or an Instagram chat on a Tuesday or a Friday night, and I go on and I log in. I don't realize that I have to put comment that I'm logged in, and I keep going live. I press live, and all of a sudden people go, "Did you just start a Instagram conversation, a podcast?" Like, I don't know what the right word is. And I go, no, I'm trying to get on. And on Friday night, trying to get in 4 times, I started a meeting. But no, I will not be entering that world. Yeah. I got nothing to say, and no.
Maybe it's best not to. I mean, once the viewers see the film, the social ones, maybe they'll understand why it's best not to enter the social media world as much and be human.
I think that the movie is just a warning. It's comedy, but Stanley Kubrick was doing that back with Hal in 2001. So we know the dangers. I think now we're living some of the dangers. Mm-hmm. I think Hal was a fictitious character. It'll never happen. It's happening. We see the dangers of technology. Certainly, when false information comes over the internet, not just from our president, but about what works, what doesn't work, what you should be doing. And it truly is, when you can take it literally, life and death information. That's when technology is.
Absolutely.
Is
I agree with you 100%. I may be a millennial, but I'm also fearful of what technology does and could do to you. And
right.
Especially watching all these AI films and, films that are with warnings. You're like, whoa, what's happening here? Are we still human?
Well, it's very interesting. Within a matter of months, I did 2 movies that sort of addressed that. A movie called Augie, where I fall in love with an augmented reality. It's a very good movie. And that, I recommend you watching that, Auggie. And then to do Social Ones, which is about, which is a takeoff on that. With Augie, it's a drama about a man who's really taken in, and it's solo. He finds himself in a world that he,
Oh, there you are.
Here I am. You know what I was doing? You see these AirPods? I was just flipping it back and forth, and all of a sudden a message saying I should be using my AirPods. I don't understand this, Nicoletta. I swear to God, I'm in hell. I'm in hell. Just give me a book. Just give me a book and a golf course and maybe a Netflix series, and I'm fine. Yeah, or maybe I should say, or an Amazon series or ABC or whatever. Everything is of the past. Anyway, so I did these 2 movies that were warnings, and yet still we're going to get warnings continually.
I agree with you. I feel like the common thread right now in series and movies, the more I see it, is the warning. It's like everywhere, documentaries or features. And I'm like, wow, this is everywhere. You can't even escape it. It's like flashing into our eyes.
But what's really weird is that the reason we're all inside is because of not something technological. It's something that's being passed human to human and not machine by machine. So there you go. Our world still presents dangers.
That is very
And
true.
of course, yeah, and of course the environment is something that we can't ignore, and that's really going to wait till that one hits. Oh.
Yeah, it seems like everything's a ticking bomb, and I'm really glad that this film came out because it's funny, and you kind of see the message in a funny way. You're laughing, but at the same time, you're like, "Oh, should I be afraid?" Because it's funny, but it's not so
Right, I
funny.
know. Yeah, that's right. And I use a word that is very passé, but these women, I usually say these girls, but these women who produced it, who wrote it, who acted in it, and directed it, uh, they had something that they felt passionate about. They had limited funds, so why not go do it? Go spread their artistic message.
Absolutely. And you've been in some great, great films. I mean, Inside Out, your character was awesome. My daughter loved that character. I mean, she's 9. Back in
Yeah.
the day, she was, a little
Oh,
young.
she's 9 now.
Yeah, she's 9 now.
Okay. Yeah.
So I love the character. I mean, you've been in the Independence, and then you've been in Law and Order. I mean, all these like big names. So would you say that prepping for this film was a little harder than prepping for the other ones, or it's all about the same? I mean, you're a veteran actor, so you must be, knowing
You
the
know,
grounds.
normally I would say, yeah, it's all the same. This one was harder because I really had to say words that I really didn't know what I was talking about, and I had to justify them.
And I think that's true acting right there. That is like the gift of acting. Because even when you don't know on the screen, it seems like you know everything, and
Yep.
and you're able to communicate it. Are there any future projects that you're working on that we can definitely?
Nobody has any future projects. We're all sitting in our home watching everybody else act.
I mean,
What was done a year ago.
isn't that frustrating as an actor? I mean, Hollywood being like, for me, it's frustrating because I love films and I love Hollywood. So I can only imagine for actors and directors and filmmakers.
Yeah, I like to work. I mean, look, my bank account likes it when I work, but
Yeah.
I like working. That's what I live for. And this is tough. This is tough. I will say that actors are, they always say, yeah, I mean, normally we're out of work. I'm not always doing projects that I want to do, but I'm not out of work for 2 months. I've been out of work, but it hasn't been like this. This is awful, and I just want to get back to work because, as a friend of mine who's an actor said, I like acting.
Hmm.
I like to act,
Yeah.
so I can't wait.
I know
Yeah.
I can't wait either. And I'm sorry that we all have to go through this, and the actors especially, and the filmmakers. It's so tough. I mean, I don't know. I just hope things get back to normal sooner than later.
I do too. I do too. In every which way. I'd like to have a beer sitting across from somebody. I look forward to that.
Yeah, now we
Yeah.
appreciate that human connection more than ever that we took
Oh yeah.
for granted before. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
And I also appreciate solitude more than ever.
yeah, hearing your thoughts and
Yeah, just being alone. 5 weeks in an apartment will do it to you.
I believe you. I totally
Yeah.
believe you.
Yeah.
So when can we see the social ones? I mean, I saw it, but for the rest of us,
I don't know. I have no idea. I just talk about it.
and would you like to say something to the audience? I guess what would you like to leave the audience with? Coming from your wisdom, anything, any positive or powerful message that can do with the film or with
I
that.
have a very powerful message. This November, vote.
Yeah.
Vote. There are people who have to walk miles and miles in other countries if they're lucky enough to vote. You get to walk around the corner or maybe even mail something in.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take it lightly. And this is an important one. I do care who you vote for, but I can't say it. And I won't influence you. But for God's sakes, vote. Don't stick your head in the sand. The world is fraying at the ends. You could do something about it, truly. And your vote means more than it ever has. And one person can make a difference. Trust me. It made a difference last time. So do it. Vote.
Thank you, Richard. That's a great message, and I hope that everyone that's listening and watching this will take your message.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Don't just sit at home with your thumb up your butt. Your world is, you have an effect on the world that you live in. Don't take it for granted, and don't think that things won't happen because you sat at home.
I agree with you, because the more we sit and don't do anything about it, the more the world's falling apart. So I feel like we need to be collectively working to make a change.
Yeah, I mean, there are other ways to help, but geez, the bottom line. It's the bottom line. Yep.
Absolutely. Well, Richard, it's such a pleasure talking to you about the film and just hearing your thoughts and seeing you online. And thanks for all your hard work, and thanks for your acting, great films and TV series that you're in. And I wish you the best of luck, and let's hope that Hollywood opens up in the world soon enough.
Thank you. You too. I had a lovely time talking to you.
Thank you so much. Bye,
Good
Richard.
luck to you. Bye-bye.